All right, let's get right into it. We're going to explore this really powerful idea from the scriptures on how to handle those draining, manipulative relationships in our lives. And we're going to look at a model that, well, it might be very different from what you've been taught.
You know, the source material for this kicks off with this, wow, this really striking analogy. It just so perfectly captures that feeling, right? That soul-crushing experience of trying to connect with someone, and you feel more invisible than ever before.
So, does that resonate with you at all? I mean, if you often find yourself feeling emotionally exhausted in a relationship where you just give and the other person just seems to take, then you're in the right place. This is for you.
And let's be really clear, because the source material is, we are not talking about just a difficult personality. This kind of pattern, it's a form of emotional abuse. It's the kind of thing that can make you start to question your own sanity, your own worth. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. A lot of us have this idea that the Christian response is to just be a doormat, right? To just turn the other cheek no matter what. But the source here completely challenges that. It suggests that Jesus actually offered a powerful, fiercely wise model, not a passive one.
So the big question is, how do we actually do this? How do we apply it? Well, the very first step is all about protecting your own well-being, your own peace.
The first tool in the toolbox is something called discernment. Think about it. Jesus was never naive. He was never fooled by a good performance or a lot of charm. He could see right through to the motives behind the actions. And the idea is that we are called to develop that same kind of wisdom.
And check this out. This verse from the book of John is a perfect example in action. It says Jesus would not entrust himself to them. He loved them perfectly, absolutely. But his trust, that was different. He didn't just hand it over blindly, especially when he knew their motives were self-serving.
So what does this mean for you? It means it is not unloving to pull back from people whose actions consistently show they can't be trusted with your heart. It's not about being suspicious, it's about being wise. It's about guarding your heart.
So once you have that discernment, it naturally leads to the next tool, setting firm boundaries. This is all about drawing a clear line in the sand that says, your dysfunction, your pressure, your chaos, it stops here. It's not going to control my life.
And get this. This wasn't just for strangers. Even Jesus' own family tried to shut him down. They literally thought he was out of his mind. But he didn't let their pressure or their misunderstanding derail him from his mission.
And that's the model right there. He consistently showed that the most powerful response to manipulation and drama is to stay anchored to your own purpose. You just don't take the bait.
So how did he do it? How did he stay so grounded? Well, the Bible tells us he would physically step away from the noise, find a quiet place, and just realign with his Father. He refused to get sucked into that emotional vortex.
Okay, so protecting your peace is part one, but it doesn't mean you have to go silent. That brings us to the second major principle, speaking the truth, but doing it in a very specific way that avoids all the drama.
You'll notice Jesus never got sucked into those endless, circular arguments that are just designed to wear you down. Nope. But what he did do was directly and fearlessly confront the toxic behavior of the religious narcissists of his day, the Pharisees, calling out their hypocrisy for everyone to see.
And just listen to these words. This wasn't some passive-aggressive little comment. This was bold, clear public truth. And it wasn't meant to get even. It was meant to expose a destructive spirit in order to protect other people.
And this points to a really critical distinction. There's a righteous anger that rises up to protect truth and protect people, and then there's just human anger that lashes out to hurt people. The goal here is to confront what's wrong without becoming wrong yourself in the process.
So how do you combine this bold truth-telling with a love that doesn't just enable all the destructive patterns to continue? Well, that brings us to the third and final piece of this powerful model.
Now this one can be really hard, but man is it freeing. It's the concept of release. Jesus never chased people who chose to walk away from him. He let them go. He let go of the need to fix them or chase them or make them understand when they'd already made their choice.
In fact, he gave his disciples this super clear 4-step process for it. Speak the truth, offer love. But if you're rejected, you release them, you shake the dust off your feet, and you keep moving forward. See, walking away isn't giving up. It's following his example and focusing on your own mission.
Jesus was the most compassionate person to ever live, but his love always had boundaries.
He was a master at distinguishing between helping someone and carrying a responsibility that was theirs and theirs alone to carry.
This question is it's so key. He sees a man who's been suffering for 38 years and he asks, do you want to get well? He required a decision, a moment of personal ownership. He was offering total transformation, not just a rescue from their situation. And this all leads to a final, vital distinction we have to make. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. Forgiveness is between you and God. It's something you do to free yourself. But reconciliation, well, that's a two-way street. That requires real change, repentance, and accountability from the other person. So, when you put this all together, what's the takeaway? It's a roadmap to freedom. It's a model that shows us how to love people deeply without being used, how to forgive without enabling, and how to walk in our truth without apology.
In the end, this isn't just a historical lesson. It's a practical invitation to freedom in your own life. So the real question is the one right here on your screen. What is one step, maybe just a small one, that you can take toward your own freedom today?